test and measure, which is the sit and reach. And then I will also be doing the bodyweight squat and the push-up. So first for the sit and reach, we don't have the equipment for that, but it's basically like a box where you reach and it tells you like the measurement of how far they can reach. This is good for testing the flexibility and like mobility of your lower body. So what your client is going to do is they're going to sit on the ground, and then their heels are going to be pressed against that box and make sure their legs are completely flat on the ground. And then they're going to put their hands like this and then reach forward as far as they can, and then that's when you're going to measure how far they reach. And they can do that a few times just to get accuracy. So it's basically going to look like this. And just imagine the box like that. And then you're going to go like that. And then your measurement. So I'm going to have my client do that. Okay, so now for the body weight squat. There is no equipment for this since it's body weight, but if you were to do like weighted stuff, you can do the barbell or dumbbells or kettlebells. Basically that's all. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your client stand about shoulder width apart. You want their feet facing forward and the toes slightly pointed out. If they can't get much range of motion, like their mobility going down, if they can't get deep enough, you can always elevate their heels. That helps, especially with taller clients. So then what you're going to do is you want to make sure their chest is upright, because sometimes people will lean too far forward, and you also want to make sure they have a neutral spine so they don't round their back or anything. And as you're going down, think of it as sitting in a chair. That's helpful for a lot of people to think of it like that. When you're going down, make sure your knees are not going inward, and then they want to be like going not past the toes either. So it's going to look something like this. Okay, now I'll have my client do this. It's good how she's keeping her chest in an upright position, not too far forward, and then get feet positioning as well. That's good. The anatomical analysis for this, the agonist is the quads, and then the antagonist is the hamstrings, the synergist is the abductors and glutes, and then the eccentric contraction is the flexion, concentric is extension. The plane of motion is sagittal, and the axis of rotation is frontal. Okay, now for the push-up. So what you're going to have what you want your client to do is be on the ground, and then they're going to have their hands, palms facing on the ground, and then in line with their chest and then about a little over shoulder width apart. And then they want to be in a plank position. If they have a weaker upper body, you can do elevated push-ups, like on a wall or like a box, or you can do it with your knees on the ground. And then you want to make sure that your hips are in line, like with your spine, and then your head isn't like this or this, like your hips not like that either. And then you want your feet about hip width apart. And then as you go down, make sure that your elbows are closer, as close to your body as possible. Good positioning on the elbows and feet close to the body. And then as you can tell, she wants to keep good form, so she put her knees on the ground to maintain that. That was good. The anatomical analysis, the agonist is the pecs, the antagonist is basically the back muscles, like the rear delts, the lats, the traps. The synergist is triceps, and the eccentric contraction is elbow flexion, concentric is extension, the plane of motion is transverse, and the axis of rotation is longitudinal.